One of them is program planning, public enlightenment, employment, provision of medical services, policy planning. So let's look at them one after the other. Program planning. He or she participates in planning and organizing stable training programs for the challenged. This could be provided by government or non-governmental bodies, as well as good-spirited persons. Social workers could equally participate in stimulating and designing the programs so as to ensure that they are suitable for the targeted persons. Program planning. Programs that meet the needs of different challenged persons. So it will be channeled towards the need of individual challenged persons, not that one program for all. The other one is public enlightenment. Through organizing public enlightenment programs such as seminars, conferences, media advocacy, etc., the social workers help to create societal acceptance for the challenged. In such enlightenment programs, it sensitizes the public on the need to accept the challenged person as unique people deserving to respect for their dignity and worth. You know, it's been long, but when HIV/AIDS was very, very new then, you know, people were just, once they hear somebody's having HIV, they will take to their heels. But public enlightenment people realize that through handshaking, hugging, you cannot contact AIDS. It is only through blood, contact. And from there, because people believe that once you stay with somebody who's having HIV/AIDS, you have contacted it. Then you don't understand. So through public enlightenment, such people living in disability will be accepted in the society, and they will also feel among in the society. The next one is employment. The social worker helps the challenge to become economically productive by exposing him or her to suitable skills and educational opportunities, as well as employment opportunities. The aim is to ensure that the challenge becomes self-reliant on the long run, so they don't continue to be independent. They don't continue to be dependent, rather they become independent. The next one is provision of medical services. Social worker ensures that the health of the challenge is catered for here. The social worker links up health professionals to the client and equally engages the client in conversations that will give him or her the opportunity to reveal his or her health state. You need to make yourself, close, accessible, and friendly to your clients so that you can know their true health status. Then the next one is policy planning. Social worker offers suggestions to the government on effective, relevant, and visible policies that could be made to enhance the well-being for the challenged. At this level of policy making, we are talking about the meso. We have the micro, you have the meso, and you have the macro intervention. At this level of policy planning, you are talking about macro intervention, because everything that has to do with policy is not going to affect only the client you are standing with. It's a policy that will affect the generality of people living in disabilities. So here, the social worker offers suggestions to the government on effective, relevant, and visible policies that could be made to enhance well-being for the challenged. In order to come up with ideas of such, the social worker should consult stakeholders to get their views on issues, which will in turn impact recommendations and advice for policies, interventions. We want to look at steps in rehabilitation process. Steps in rehabilitation process. Rehabilitation, just like every other engagement of social workers, follow a systematic process. Therefore, this section is dedicated to explaining the steps that should be observed in context of rehabilitation. The first one here is selection and preliminary investigation. Selection and preliminary investigation. The social worker, also referred to as a counselor, is also expected, is first expected to conduct an investigative interview. This helps him to gather information on the client and the problem to be remedied. Skills like empathy, congruence, unconditional positive regards, and warmth are very important to help the social worker establish rapport with rehabilitants and support system surrounding them. Information during this period is sought in the areas of health, education, emotional balance, social history, relationships with people, among others. That is the primary thing, the first thing you do, selection and preliminary investigation before you can, go straight into rehabilitation. The next thing is client study data. The information from the initial interview provides a starting point of the rehabilitant case study. All the information needed for total adjustment and treatment of the rehabilitant cannot be obtained just during an interview. Other relevant information is sourced from further investigation and reflections through the data and references obtained during the interview. This could lead to further questioning with him. Some areas deserving more attention after the preliminary investigation include medical evaluation, psychological reports, vocational evaluation, educational evaluation, cultural and environmental evaluation, and lastly, social evaluation. These evaluations and reviews could be achieved through designing set of questions on paper that will demand responses of the rehabilitant. Other professional and support networks too can as well be part of it. This will help the social worker to determine the extent of the client's disability, possibility of recovery, system that will facilitate recovery, an approach that could be applied to scale up recovery and coping processes for the client. Olukotsu 1992. So during the course of this interview, first, initial interview and the subsequent interview, you will know more about the client and you will know what the need of the client will be. You will know which professionals to engage. That is talking about the client study data. Then the next one is rehabilitation diagnosis. Rehabilitation diagnosis. In rehabilitation diagnosis, issues such as determination of eligibility for resources and opportunities, clarity of problems arising from ascertained disabilities, identification of appropriate rehabilitation services to be offered, an economic worthiness appraisal of the client, as well as the kind of job the client can undertake, are considered at this phase. This is where you do your diagnosis as a social worker. Where can we take this person to? What can he do? What is the level of his disability? What and what will he need? You are doing your own assessment, and that's what we call rehabilitation diagnosis. This is your own with other professionals with you. This is the case of this person. This is his level of understanding. What is the eligibility for the resources and opportunities? You get it? So this is done at the level of rehabilitation diagnosis. Then the next one is planning and provision of rehabilitation services. After you might have done your rehabilitation diagnosis, then you now move to the next one. All other information prior to this phase serves as springboard for designing rehabilitation services or service proper for the rehabilitant. All you have been doing so far from the beginning, from your selection of preliminary investigation, client study data, rehabilitation diagnosis, is for you to get rehabilitation service for the client. And that is the phase, the fourth phase we are, planning and provision of rehabilitation service. All other information prior to this phase serve as a springboard for designing the rehabilitation service proper for the rehabilitant. The first task at this stage is the statement of goals, which should be jointly established by the social worker and the rehabilitant. What is the goal we want to achieve? Statement of goals. The program designed for a given rehabilitant should be acceptable to the rehabilitant. You need to reach an agreement. You don't enforce anything on your client as a social worker. You don't enforce, so it won't be as if it was the one who forced me to do it. It is, and there must be an agreement. It's like under these what was it called, problem-solving model. You know, it's a scientific, objective way of solving problems. And part of it is that you need to reach an agreement with your client on whatever step you are going to take, or whatever options you are going to take out of the multiple options that you have, not that you enforce anyone on him or her. So the program designed for a given rehabilitant should be acceptable to the rehabilitant and in accordance with the rehabilitant's medical, psychological, and social data. The social worker, alongside other assistants in the rehabilitation setting, should assist the rehabilitant in the step-by-step fulfillment of all components involved in fulfilling the established goal. It is not only the social work that should be there working to achieve the goal. It's a joint effort, and all of them must work towards achieving that goal of the goal for the purpose of rehabilitation. So they have to work together. It is the responsibility of the social worker to make necessary arrangements for commencement of implementing the treatment plan. During the implementation stage, rehabilitants could receive multiple services concurrently where necessary. Also, referral service could be considered where appropriate. So, as a social worker, you must know the agencies that are responsible for your client. So, to know where to refer your client to. Then the next one is selective placement and follow-up. Selective placement and follow-up. The process of rehabilitation is never completed until the economically viable rehabilitant is made to be economically productive, meaning that it is not all the rehabilitants that can become economically productive. But in this case, the process of rehabilitation is never completed until the economically viable, those who can still contribute to the economy, until the economically viable rehabilitant is made to be economically productive, according to Olukotun 1992. Selective placement and follow-up are therefore an integral part of the rehabilitation process. It is the duty of the social worker to arrange for economic opportunities for the client to know where to place it, and help in facilitating the process through ensuring that credentials are tied, capital is raised, workspace is found, employers are ready to accept the rehabilitant regardless of his or her disability. Work environment is friendly and will be fulfilling for the rehabilitant, among others. So you can see the work of social worker here when it comes to selective placement and follow-up. Not that you do all this and see that the rehabilitant has gotten the job. You still follow up to see how he or she is doing after you have ensured that they've provided a conducive environment for him that will enable him to work around and to be productive. Then after that is evaluation of placement and case closure. You know, you have done the selective placement and follow up. Now I want to evaluate the placement you have done if the goal has been achieved. And once that is achieved, then the case is closed. Then the case is closed. During placement, the social worker ensures that the rehabilitant is placed in suitable jobs. The need to monitor rehabilitant to see how he or she is coping with his or her job is very necessary. The closure is determined by how well the rehabilitant has fared on the job. In other words, the nature of working conditions, income, rehabilitant adjustments, employers' satisfaction, among others, will determine whether rehabilitant project should be closed or not. So from here, you can see the role of social work in rehabilitation. You can see the role, the steps in rehabilitation process and what the social worker is expected to do in rehabilitation. So from there, we move to challenges of rehabilitation. Challenges of rehabilitation. Rehabilitation comes with several challenges, which are discussed below. Social and economic factors. Social issues like culturally motivated stigma and discrimination against people with disabilities reside inherently as a challenge of rehabilitation in Nigeria. That is major problem. Stigma. They are being stigmatized. They are being excluded. There is problem of exclusion too. And after that, there are some rehabilitants that have taken their life themselves. They committed suicide because the society did not receive them. The society did not accept them because of their challenge, because of their disabilities. And some took their life, some committed suicide. You get it? So social issues like culturally motivated stigma and discrimination against people with disabilities reside inherently as a challenge of rehabilitation. Now, this, what I want to say now, has nothing to do with rehabilitation, but it's still a culturally motivated stigma. I don't know, at least let me see the number of people in this class. How many of us are in this class? Okay, you are 18. Okay. Please, I want you to help me. For those of us who are Igbos, these issues of Osu, can anybody help us? Is it still in vogue? Are they still practicing it? And what is the moral justification of still practicing it? Can somebody just help us? Let's leave 5 minutes to discuss that. Because a big stigma. They say somebody is an Osu. What his great-great-grandfather did, they are still suffering it. Anybody in the house?
Yes, sir.
Okay, man, yes. Please help us out.
Sir, I didn't get your question, sir.
He said we are talking about challenges of rehabilitation, and the first on the list is social and economic factors. You know, and we said under the social issues, we have issues like culturally motivated stigma and discrimination against people with disabilities, which reside inherently as a challenge of rehabilitation in Nigeria. And I said there are some people who have taken their lives because of the challenges they face, not based on that, but because the society refused to accept them. They were being stigmatized, and some of them ended up taking their lives, committed suicide. And it just came to my mind now that even in the East, we have the problem of Osu, you know, what they knew nothing about, their great-great-grandfather, you get it. They tell them they did something that is sacred against the land. And what is that? What is it? Why are they being stigmatized as Osu? Are they still practicing it? Then if you see one, how will you know?
Hello, sir.
Ma, yeah.
They will tell you they are not practicing it again. Like they join the communities in whatever they are doing now. But in marriages, they are still practicing it. When they send people to go and ask questions, where is the girl from? How is her family like?
Background check.
Yes, sir. So you see that it's a very big problem when people get to know that where they want to marry from, they are Osu. So it's still a problem, sir. It's still one.
So if the lady is from a Osu family, nobody will marry her.
They always want them to associate with their kinds.
That is another stigma. Well, thank you. Because I know they always carry out background check. Even in the Yoruba setting, they carry out background check. If there is one person in the family, maybe the 10, 3, 5 generations ago, who had mental issue, they will tell you can't marry from that family because that thing can recur in your own marriage. You know, things like that. So the same thing with people living with disabilities. You know, they have that challenge of being stigmatized, you know, after being rehabilitated, and that is working against rehabilitation in Nigeria. You know, it is not, I don't know when government is going to enforce such. If people with disabilities are being stigmatized, maybe they can be sued or there be a penalty against such people. Certain cultures tie disabilities to punishment from some gods and oracles as consequences of evil. You can see these are all social factors that it was as a result of what their great-grandfather did. That's why the gods of the land, I don't know which god of the land and god of the up they are talking about, but it is believed that it was as a result of the evil that they perpetrated that the gods of the land decided to pay them back with such evil. This impedes interaction between those who live with these disabilities and members of the society. And most times, such experience affect the treatment process due to the absence of home-based support system and the challenge that comes with reintegrating the client into a different society other than the society where he or she suffered discrimination and stigma. You know, all these will work against the purpose of rehabilitation. You know, that there is nothing that is as bad as your own rejecting you. When you are not being allowed to be reintegrated back into your society, that is psychological and emotional trauma. And if one is not healed psychologically, even the physical wellness will not be achieved. So all these are part of the challenges of rehabilitation that we see in our society, especially in Nigeria. There are challenges against the goals of rehabilitation. Also, the cost of some services during the process of rehabilitation might not be affordable. This is taking us to the economic aspect. The first one we explained talks about the social aspect, the stigma, you understand, the belief in the gods, that it was as a result of what they did that the God decided to strike them. Now we are talking about the cost of some services during the process of rehabilitation might not be affordable for the service users. This could frustrate a treatment process. Community participation. That's another one. Community participation. The fact that sometimes these persons with disabilities are placed out of the communication in their communities is challenging for rehabilitation. The fact that these people living with disabilities are placed out of communication in their communities is challenging for rehabilitation. You know, when people are down or they are facing disabilities and they continue to see their people coming down to with them, communicate with them, not that they are excommunicated, no, not that they are left out. Seeing people around you is mercy on its own. It's mercy on its own. It's help the sick to get well quickly. But when the sick is left alone, so he will be thinking that they've neglected him or her, leaving him to die. Devil will just be playing different side of the music to him or her. Can you see? You have been left alone. See what your condition has done to you. You get it. And here we said, when people are left out of communication in their community, it is challenging for rehabilitation. It takes the community uncomfortable for a phase or a kind of rehabilitation that will require the client to receive rehabilitation service from home. It makes the community uncomfortable for a phase or a kind of rehabilitation that will require the client to receive rehabilitation service from home. Effort must be made to develop well-established mechanisms for local administration to involve community participation in planning programs and appreciating people with disabilities. You know, if it is made compulsory that the one phase or part of the rehabilitation exercise should be in the home, then the community will appreciate it. It will make them realize that they don't have to desert their home. Some people, they can just leave their family members in the hospital and be sending money. They won't even bother to come around to associate with the person. And it is not the money that brings healing. It is seeing your people associating with you. You get it? And here we are saying efforts must be made to develop well-established mechanisms for local administration to involve community participation in planning programs and appreciating people with disabilities. Disease-oriented notions of disability. That's another one. The disease-oriented notion of disability. Education of professionals in the health and social services traditionally focus on the medical aspect of disability, whereby the individuals was seen as dependent rather than a person with potentials for independent living. That is when you see disease-oriented. You know, we always see people who are sick as somebody who is always in need of help, somebody who cannot do anything on his own. Instead of us to see a potential, some of us will see a potential for independent living, give hope to them, but rather we make them feel to have self-pity on themselves because we make them see it like that. Instead of us to give them word of hope, we are waiting for you. You need to come back to start doing those things you are doing because nobody can do it the way you are doing it. You understand? Such word we give hope to them that so I'm this important. They will put in more effort. So I'm this important. Not seeing them as somebody whose end has come. And that is our situation in this part of the world. We make them see as if nothing good can come from their Nazareth again. Thus, professionals working in the field of rehabilitation need to add new skills to their traditional knowledge and values so that professional behavior becomes more oriented towards aiding persons with disabilities have their potentials fulfilled. Difficulties in the interprofessional collaboration. These are another problem. Difficulties in interprofessional collaboration. It is common across Nigerian facilities, having various professionals to have squabbles and battle for supremacy among themselves. Some will tell you social workers are not that important. Others will tell you, no, community development are not that important. And if all of them are to work together as a team, this rivalry is always there. This rivalry is always there. Rivalry for supremacy among themselves. Rehabilitation settings are not left out of this rivalry. This is likely to make rehabilitation service less efficient. Professionals in rehabilitation settings should be made to understand the essence of working in a team, having a client's well-being central to their collaboration. You are not here to fight for supremacy. Why we have brought you together in a team, as a team, is for the wellness of the client. Leave your supremacy out of it and focus on the wellness of your patients, of your clients. That was why you were brought together in that group. In the presence of interprofessional harmony, a comprehensive approach on disabilities issues will be achieved if there is harmony among all the people that made up the team. In the presence of interprofessional harmony, a comprehensive approach on disabilities issues will be achieved, implemented, and sustained. Thus, altruistic collaboration of professionals should be fostered regardless of professional status, race, age, tribe, length of practice, experience, among others. So all these challenges are what we are facing, and they have been with us, and they are still with us. But we need to work towards achieving the goal of why we are together, which is the wellness of our clients. With this, we have come to the end of this class, and I want to wish all of you all the best in your exam. Come 1st of September. Make it do well.
Amen. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Smith.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. I have a question for you, sir.
Are they here, madam?
Yes, sir. From the definition of rehabilitation,
yes,
is being defined as a set of intervention designed to optimize the functioning and reduce disability in individuals with health condition in interaction with their environment.
You have to flip my top.
There is
one and two.
Hello, sir.
I'm hearing you, madam.
Okay, sir. There is a scenario that happened at the ART clinic. A patient came in with his wife. The man is an elderly man. He came in with his wife. So they were waiting for them to be attended to by the healthcare provider. So in the process, he decided that he wants to pee. And he peed on his body. And the next thing the wife would do was to give the man a very hot slap. And the man started crying. So, and there was a kiosk at the clinic at that particular time. In fact, everybody became a counselor in that process. In such a case, who really need the rehabilitation? Is it the man or the woman?
Both of them.
Oh my God, who is that lecturer that talked now? But do you know what?
Yes, sir.
Both of them need rehabilitation, but different rehabilitation.
Okay.
Because they have different problems.
Yes.
The problem of that man is medical.
Yes.
The problem of that woman is emotional. She needs emotional rehabilitation.
Okay.
Our own problem is psychological. Do you get it?
Yes.
But the problem of the husband is medical, is clinical. But of a truth, both of them need serious rehabilitation.
Okay.
And if you see what that woman did, it will further compound the problem of that man. But one thing that will have saddled this, that will have saved the day, is how people react to what that woman did. I wasn't there. If the whole world crumble on that woman, that place, then the man will quickly recover from it. The man will quickly recover from the slap. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
If the whole world, stood against that woman there, that man will quickly recover from the slap.
Yes, I think that was what happened. Everybody
so
was
that is just it. So that man will quickly recover from that slap. But thank God people like me wasn't there, because I would have given her a slap too. That was madness now. Honestly, maybe it's not the husband anyway. Maybe just rented her to come down.
No, it's the husband. It's the husband.
You mean it?
Yes.
That is very
bad. He's an elderly man.
Very, very bad. Very, very bad. Very, very bad. Very bad. Both of them really need rehabilitation. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you,
Mr. Smith. Pollution Smith. Mr. Pollution Smith.
Well, God, sir, I'm with you, sir.
You are not with me, you are against me.
Well, God, I'm enjoying your lecture, sir.
You are against me, Pollution.
I'm enjoying your lecture, sir.
You are enjoying my lecture.
Yes, sir.
What are you doing in this class?
I said I'm enjoying your lecture, sir.
You are enjoying my lecture. We shall meet, don't worry.
I know,
we
sir.
shall meet, no wahala. No wahala.
Great, brother.
We shall meet, no wahala. Okay, thank you all. I wish you all the best. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Any
Thank you
area
very
of
much, sir.
concentration, Expo?
No, it is CBT now. It is CBT.
It's all right, sir.
I would have loved to give you pen on paper. That one, I can ask them not to invigilate you and give you question. I will ask nobody to invigilate you. But it is CBT. I would have given you pen on paper. I will even ask you to bring your material in, and you not write anything.
It's all right, sir.
That's not good, sir.
Thank you,
So,
sir.
but it is
You
CBT.
won't like to see us fail.
No. I said we give you pen on paper, and I will ask nobody to invigilate you. But I know, even if you are given 2 hours, you are still sweating on that demand.
Open book.
Honestly, I like that. But the question, for you to interpret one question,
You will
25
sweat.
minutes has gone.
You will
Yeah.
sweat.
No, that is it. All the best. Thank you so
Thank you,
much for
sir.
your cooperation.
Yes,
Thank you, sir, for your time.
Yeah, we bless God for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye.